It always seems impossible until it's done. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. It is better to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Never, never and never again shall it be that this beautiful land will again experience the oppression of one by another. Money won't create success, the freedom to make it will. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. Where globalization means, as it so often does, that the rich and powerful now have new means to further enrich and empower themselves at the cost of the poorer and weaker, we have a responsibility to protest in the name of universal freedom. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination. As long as poverty, injustice and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. There is no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through the valley of the shadow of death again and again before we reach the mountaintop of our desires. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner. Our human compassion binds us the one to the other, not in pity or patronizingly, but as human beings who have learned how to turn our common suffering into hope for the future. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender and other discrimination. Courageous people do not fear forgiving, for the sake of peace. Running taught me valuable lessons. In cross-country competition, training counted more than intrinsic ability, and I could compensate for a lack of natural aptitude with diligence and discipline. I applied this in everything I did. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. Only free men can negotiate. A prisoner cannot enter into contracts. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. It is wise to persuade people to do things and make them think it was their own idea. Without education, your children can never really meet the challenges they will face. So it's very important to give children education and explain that they should play a role for their country. Let freedom reign. The sun never set on so glorious a human achievement. There is no such thing as part freedom. When the water starts boiling, it is foolish to turn off the heat. In countries where innocent people are dying, the leaders are following their blood rather than their brains. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. Nonviolence is a good policy when the conditions permit. Does anybody really think that they didn't get what they had because they didn't have the talent or the strength or the endurance or the commitment? After one has been in prison, it is the small things that one appreciates: being able to take a walk whenever one wants, going into a shop and buying a newspaper, speaking or choosing to remain silent. The simple act of being able to control one's person. Unlike some politicians, I can admit to a mistake. Any man or institution that tries to rob me of my dignity will lose. Let there be work, bread, water and salt for all. I should tie myself to no particular system of society other than of socialism. I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. I detest racialism, because I regard it as a barbaric thing, whether it comes from a black man or a white man. Even if you have a terminal disease, you don't have to sit down and mope. Enjoy life and challenge the illness that you have. There are so many men and women who hold no distinctive positions but whose contribution towards the development of society has been enormous. Intervention only works when the people concerned seem to be keen for peace. Our single most important challenge is therefore to help establish a social order in which the freedom of the individual will truly mean the freedom of the individual. Sometimes, I feel like one who is on the sidelines, who has missed life itself. I can't pretend that I'm brave and that I can beat the whole world. Let each know that for each the body, the mind and the soul have been freed to fulfill themselves. There are times when a leader must move out ahead of the flock, go off in a new direction, confident that he is leading his people the right way. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. People respond in accordance to how you relate to them. If you approach them on the basis of violence, that's how they'll react. But if you say, "We want peace, we want stability," we can then do a lot of things that will contribute towards the progress of our society.